circumstances can be 100% different than theirs. I feel like I can really talk about this because over the last 12 years, I would say the last 4 to be more precise, my political thought process has evolved. I used to be like this really hardcore, really strong Democrat, like the thought that only the way that Democrats see things are correct, that their views are better. I never really understood why somebody was an independent voter or a third-party voter. Like, I wasn't open-minded enough about that. I wasn't kind enough to other people. Like, in my opinion, like, I wasn't mean or anything, but I just would be like, well, Democrats are more empathetic. They care more about people. If you're a Democrat, you're a better person. Like, I used to be in that camp. And my mind evolved and changed over time because I started talking to people that were libertarian. And I thought, well, you know, they care a lot about civil liberties. And that's a good thing. You don't have to agree with everything that somebody says, by the way. But I've been noticing a narrative that's really popular, and I don't want to single anybody out because a lot of people I still know on social media, they tend to be Democrats because I used to be of that worldview too. And they will say something very draconian, and it will always be couched in this idea that, well, if they support Trump, which, by the way, I don't even watch Fox News. I don't support Donald Trump. But what I find so interesting is that Democrats seem to know more about Trump supporters than I do, because honestly, like, I'm invested in third-party issues. I'm not invested in this two-party food fight. And that's really all that we hear even now with what's going on. They're still doing that. And all I tried to say was maybe sometimes people have reservations about something because they come from a third-party perspective. And you can't say that on someone's post when they say, well, you know, how bad. Like, honestly, I would never vote for Donald Trump. I don't follow him on social media, but I don't follow Democrats either. So I have made this important thought in my mind that sometimes I look at social media, but I'm going to strive not to look at posts that are about a specific topic that's in the news every day, because right now it's really, really super popular and very important to just like go after people. It seems like everybody is still heavily invested in this two-party food fight. And I just don't think it's healthy or conducive. And I'm going to strive in the future just to look more on libertarian issues. And that's not always perfect either, because I had a libertarian guy come after me the other day who asked how old I was on social media. And I'm not telling you how old I am on social media because you don't need to know. Like, why? He wanted to know, like, well, have you wrote a book on political policy? I'm like, no, but I was a history major. I know a little bit about how government works, about economies and things to that nature. But like, he wanted me to disclose a lot of personal information about myself to him on a public forum. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. I just told him I don't owe you an explanation. And he's like, fair enough. And he seemed all like, I was like, I don't even know where you're going with this, buddy. Did I ask him his age? But that happens to me a lot. That might be another live stream that I will talk about ageism, where sometimes things aren't the way that they look. Not everybody looks their age. Some people look a bit younger than their age, and that's really all you need to know. They look younger than their age. That doesn't mean anything about them specifically. But I just remember that with my mom, she looked younger than her age, and she was a very private person, though. She didn't talk to people on social media or have a blog. So for her, like, she just lives this very quiet life. But for me, like, sometimes people, they want to know things about me, like they want to know my age or my specific location, and I'm not going to tell people those things because they don't need to know how old I am. Which is also another thing about judging your neighbor. Like, if you knew specific things about me, would that change? Like why do you need that specific information? I don't even like it when really younger people, to be honest with you, like the 19 to 20 crowd, put their age on social media. I kind of wish people wouldn't do that because I think people use it for nefarious reasons. And even on dating profiles, which, by the way, I'm going to go deleting a lot of the ones I have because they're kind of gross. I don't like putting my age on those either. Like, I just don't want to. Like, why is that information so pertinent to somebody? Like, I don't want to share that or like disclose it. And every time I do, I get some fun time comment about like, well, you don't look your age. Okay, I don't look my age. I don't know what to tell you. I look a little bit younger than my age. And that's all you have to know, you know? It's not like I kind of had a roundabout conversation about this, but I'm just curious, like what I want to see is, does YouNow freeze up every time I simulcast it to Facebook? That's kind of my objective goal here. But I also do think, getting back to just the whole, just if you want to have genuine empathy, I know I kind of went off course with my little topic, but have like genuine empathy for other people, sometimes you have to let go of the concept that they're always going to say things that mirror your view. Sometimes you have to let go of the thought process that maybe they're bad people because they don't vote like you. Maybe your grandmother was right about how politics and religion don't have a place at the dinner table. I know I don't like to be draconian like that either, so I actually like to have deep discussions. But I can see why some people say, well, hey, you know, we shouldn't talk about this at dinner, because a lot of dinners have been ruined over people arguing and debating about politics. But I'm going to tell you something. Given the current situation, I don't think anybody is doing anybody favors by saying one political party or one group of people are better than others, given their reaction to how they react to certain things. That's probably not a good idea. And I don't want to come down hard on Democrats. I'm just seeing it on the Democrat side. I'm sure Republicans do it too. But just when I see a Democrat say that about a Republican, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, but it could be anything. I don't know. It could be like the topic that we had a few years ago about the national parks. Oh, Republicans are against national parks and Democrats are for them, even though it was a Republican president, Teddy Roosevelt, that established a national park system. It just makes Democrats look a little bit silly sauce applesauce when they say things like that. And I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I'm a third party libertarian, but just the way I'm going to preface this by saying is that maybe we need to stop politicizing everything, because not everything is political. It can be political for you, but okay, this is where I think you cross the line, is where you say, well, that person's not a good person because they belong to a different group than me. I'm a good person, they're not a good person, you know, whatever group they belong to, that's what determines that they're the good person. But I'm the good person, not them. It's like pointing their fingers. Or Susie Q. Well, Susie Q didn't do things the way that everybody said was better. Like, she didn't do this thing or that thing, you know. And I'm watching Susie Q to see exactly what Susie Q does, because Susie Q didn't wear a face covering in line at the post office. Susie Q's a bad person. Or Jay John there, he's not a good person either. But Dora C, she's a really good person because she wore a face mask and she wore gloves and she stayed 12 feet apart from everybody. I mean, okay, I get it. If you're in line, you should stay away from people. But it's just like, I've literally heard people say this over the last few days, that so-and-so in their family wasn't such a good person because they went in a house with a grandparent. Or so-and-so wasn't a good person because two neighbors got together and they continued playing game night. And that's fine, you can think that, but I guess just at the end of the day, where I don't think that is that, I don't know, I don't want to spend all my time worrying about what other people are doing. I just don't think that's healthy. I do think there's a lot of mental health repercussions and socioeconomic repercussions that are not good to promoting these type of discussions. And I would just say at the end of the day, maybe if you're going on social media and you want to share what you think is a better recommendation about keeping distance from people, or where you stand in line at the supermarket, that you should do that. But please, 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 with sugar on top, like, just think a little bit more about like what you're saying about your neighbor. But you know, I guess people feel very secure in pretty much everything that they say and do. They never second guess like any comments that they make. Like, they never reflect upon it. But all I can tell you is that 12 years ago, I was a really strong Democrat, and I was strong or open and empathetic enough to acknowledge over time that I didn't really listen to somebody that was a libertarian when they started sharing their like thoughts with me. And over time, I started liking the libertarian people a lot more, because they weren't saying as many judgmental things about people, and they were concerned more about civil liberties, and they weren't like saying this group is bad, this group is good. And I kind of like that. So anyway, those are my views on that, that maybe if you're going to go on social media, maybe it's better not to just start judging someone. Maybe you should think before you speak. Everybody has the freedom of expression, but maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be saying so-and-so's bad and we're good. Like, it might not be a good idea. Just a thought for today.